Hi folks, Matthew Ellis here, founder of Seed, the in-house partner building teams for scaling companies across Europe. Glad to be here at the EU Startup Summit and look forward to sharing a founder's guide, enabling a culture of talent success with you all. I've been fortunate enough to work with founders and talent leaders from 60 of Europe's most exciting tech startups, from seed stage through to IPO. 12 of those companies have gone on to achieve billion-dollar unicorn status or greater, and 14 have gone on to be acquired or IPO. So let's get into it. Naturally, everybody tells me that hiring is a top priority for their business, that people are their greatest asset. And yet, too often than not, that doesn't translate into how they actually operate their organization. Don't get me wrong, having partnered with some truly incredible founding teams and business leaders across Europe, I've seen some amazing examples of building recruitment as a product of the organization at early stages. But I've also been able to see some that are not so great at doing this. Enabling a culture of talent success should be an early priority. What we notice is that second time, third time, founders and CEOs and business leaders know this. They know that when you're sitting at around 11 to 50 employees, that failure is most common. They know that a good portion of startups fail because they don't have the right team in place. And they know that a significant portion of their time will be dedicated to hiring and recruitment, anywhere between 40 and 100%, in fact. As unpopular as this may make me, I'm not here to share any shortcuts, but I am here to share what these founders and I have learned through our own mistakes, breakthrough, pattern recognition, and a bit of muscle memory. What it really takes to enable a culture of hiring success from early stages. How, as a leader, you can illustrate through action that building an effective talent function is a priority, just as building your product and go-to-market functions are. First off is around communication. Tell them, tell them, tell them again. And the wrong hire being made can cost up to 30% of the mishire's yearly salary overall, which is pretty alarming, I know. And then you have to consider the cost of leaders in the organization who struggle with capacity and leave as a result. The candidate experience and employee engagement retention piece takes me on to my next point. Marketing doesn't stop at your product or service. How much time do you spend selling your mission, your product, your story to the VCs? How many hours have you committed to pitching your product to potential customers? To succeed in hiring, you've got to put the same investment into selling to potential employees. When that absolute monster of an engineering lead you're dying to hire types your company's name into Google, which is, by the way, what most candidates will do, what will they see? What will they read about? If they jump onto your LinkedIn page, what content will they find? Is your Glassdoor page something that would make them determined to join you or deterred? Make sure your company information, product, and your mission, vision, values are easy to find. Make sure people can see what it's like to work in your organization. Just as you sell your product and position it in the market for the right buyers, you need to sell the opportunity in your organization and position it in the correct sense in the talent market for the right people. To do this, take the time to consider what the journey of a potential candidate might look like, what information they're looking for, and what information is important to them. Clearly define your employee value proposition, as this is just as important as your commercial proposition. Define how you want to communicate what working life is like in your organization and ensure this is visible and consistent online. And more than anything, keep it authentic and allow your people to tell the story as much as possible. Too many startups and scale-ups rely on ping pong tables and other benefits to sell. Not only Is this redundant in largely the remote first world? But talented individuals will see right through it. What they actually care about and what will keep you authentic is what you stand for, your values, how you live by them, your purpose, approach to progression, learning and development, flexibility offered, compensation, benefits, and the impact they will have on your organization. Consistently, we've seen that those who invest in a talent brand, as well as their product marketing, have a higher engagement rate at the top end of the hiring funnel. What that means is you can spend less time explaining what your company does and more time figuring out whether the candidate is right for the role or you are right for them, making your recruitment engine much more efficient and enjoyable. This takes me on to my next point, which is building recruitment as a product of your organization. I'm very passionate about your recruitment function being built and prioritized as much as the products that you sell commercially. Your people are your biggest asset. Without the right people, that product wouldn't exist, nor can it scale and succeed. Despite this, focus, investment, and continuous improvement in recruitment can be too often left behind the curve. Bigger ships are harder to turn. This is something any second-time founder will tell you. So if you get it right early, you'll be thankful in the long run and won't have to make drastic changes or retrofit hiring best practices further down the line. Are you set up for this currently? Ask yourself. Which data points are you capturing to understand the performance of your recruitment function? What feedback are you collecting on the recruitment process? How and who from? What rituals and retrospectives do you have for other products in your organization? And are you applying these to recruitment as well? A couple of key actions to take away if not. Measure your key recruitment metrics: time to hire, source of hire, and hiring funnel conversions at the very least. And just as you would measure customer feedback or happiness, track candidate satisfaction and your hiring manager sentiment too. Have a ritual to deep dive into these on a regular basis. And where relevant, tie this data into your company-wide communication about recruitment. Have a ritual to deep dive into the performance of your recruitment function. Set objectives to iterate and make improvements based on the numbers and feedback that you're seeing. Remember, being in a startup, hiring hasn't been done before in your company. There are benchmarks and best practices, of course, but what works for one organization may not work exactly the same for you. So just as you do with your product at an early stages, create an MVP, push it live, test and iterate quickly based on data to find your optimum mode. Consistently, we see that leaders that value and invest in recruitment as a product of their organization are more present in its performance and success, and hold the rest of the organization and recruitment function accountable for finding ways to be better at hiring, how to raise the bar, how you'll stand out to potential candidates for the right reasons. As a final point, I'd like to share more of a mindset with you, and that's everybody in the organization is a recruiter. I mentioned previously the role of consistently communicating the importance of hiring to the wider organization and sharing how the rest of your team can help. This is something that starts with you as a founder, CEO, business leader, and a role model. A close friend and prior partner of Seed, Sophie, SVP of People at GraphCore, coined the phrase, everybody is a recruiter for their organization. To further enforce this point, they had it in their email signatures. They did lunch and learns on the topic. They celebrated it at their all hands. Everybody has a role to play in building your team and your organization. If you're not involved in the hiring process, you're an ambassador for the employer brand in some capacity. And look, the AI startup was founded in Bristol in 2016. They're now 400 people strong with offices across the globe and have reached unicorn status. So the mantra has served them pretty well, right? Some questions to ask yourself on this topic. Who are the best people that you or your team have worked with or know that should be part of your organization today or in the future? These are referrals. These are people that you can reach out to directly. Who are you aware of that's excellent? You might not know them, but you want them to join you on your mission. These I refer to as leads. Who are the organizations that you respect commercially, culturally, or technically that could potentially have the right talent that you'd love to join your organization? This falls under talent mapping. And finally, where do folks you want to hire hang out on or offline? Are you present in those spaces? And these are what I refer to as talent insights. And when you've asked yourself these questions, do this. Grab an Excel doc, Miro board, Trello, open your LinkedIn, maybe a beverage of your choice, and get all of this information down in one place. Create a strategy to engage each of those individuals or segments of individuals. How are you going to reach out to them? What will you say? What will hook this person in? And if you're at the very early stages, around 50 to 30 people in your team, ask each of them to do the same exercise, or host an afternoon referral hack, or sprint together to make it a team sport. Employee referrals, as we probably all know, are five times more likely to be hired due to quality. Their time to hire is typically far shorter, and you'll save a considerable amount from a cost per hire perspective, according to studies. We see companies that are now billion-dollar unicorns facilitate their first rounds of hiring through building a culture of referrals. And they keep and retain this culture as a key tactic or function of their organization as they scale. One thing to be aware of, however, is the shiny penny mentality and creating a homogenous org. Many startups fall into the trap of only hiring people they have worked with before, or who have worked with a certain big name company or gone to a certain university. This can, if you're not mindful of it, mean that everyone in your org looks, sounds, and thinks the same, which isn't conducive to long-term organizational success. At all times, keep in mind these people may have been great in their prior organization, but you're building something new and different. Are they right for you, and are you right for them? Are they the right individual for the opportunity, and importantly, for a phase of growth that you're currently at or heading towards? And of course, be sure to balance referrals with sourcing, engaging, and hiring diverse candidates. Diverse talent, not just in a race or gender context, but in terms of background, mindset, and approach to problem solving. Startups with a diverse team are 12% more productive, according to Gartner. So ensure your practices on inclusivity are strong very, very early on. Make this part of your values, your culture, to truly bake into your organization. So to summarize, enable a culture of talent success from the get-go. Drive through these 5 tangible themes and actions. Communication. Tell them, tell them, tell them again. Ownership, goal setting, and giving space. Knowing that marketing doesn't stop with your products. Create your EVP and build your employer brand. Build recruitment as a product of your organization. Investment in hiring and your hiring teams should be considered the same as any other product of your business. And finally, everybody is a recruiter, a framework and mindset for you and your team as you scale. I hope this has been helpful to listen to. Thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Matthew Ellis, directly via the email shared here in the deck or on LinkedIn. Cheers.